Yeah. So that's what we're going to be reviewing next, right here. Boy Kills the World. So Boy Kills the World is a movie starring Bill Skarsgård here. People might know Bill Skarsgård. He's going to be emo John Wick in the Crow movie coming up.
Mm-hmm.
He's also
Also
Pennywise.
Pennywise.
He was in Barbarian. He was also the villain in John Wick Chapter 4. He's getting a good resume going, building up a nice selection of movies here. What's going on in here? So, in Boy Kills the World deals with a family, evil family here who basically controls everything. They set up this authoritarian government system here where there's the haves, the have-nots, where the have-nots are basically forced to compete in a competition where they kill each other. Very battle royale, Hunger Games type style here for people entertainment. And one of those people that lives was ruined by this family. I think the family is called the Von der Koor family. There, and it's head up the matriarch. Is head up by the matriarch of the family. He's played by Famke Janssen, who people might know as Jean Grey in the X-Men movies. There, still is basically the same. I mean, she's still really amazing there. Who's Hilda Van der Koor there. And this the Vandercourt fan basically killed Bill Skarsgård's character, who's just referred to as Boy. He doesn't have a name; he's just called Boy. And this killed his sister, and killed his mother, father. And since that happened, is now on a path of revenge. And but with that path of revenge, also comes with some challenges. Some of those challenges being the fact that he's mute and deaf here. But we do have a inside voice here that we can still hear what the character's thinking, still be able to get his thoughts on things and situations in the movie. And that inside voice there is voiced by H. John Benjamin, who people might know is the voice of Archer, or Sterling Archer in the cartoon series. Also, Bob's Burgers there. But I always pretty much know him as Archer. I think that's probably what I most know H. John Benjamin for. Very talented voice actor, H. John
Oh yeah.
Benjamin. He's kind of one of those voice actors that really doesn't really have to do much with his voice. It's already
No.
pretty much it's perfect for cartoon and animation. And this is Archer right here. And Archer, I think, finally ended after what 18, 20
They don't.
Yes.
seasons.
Sarasota County, Florida. Chet Willard, age 16, swimming in the Oak River Canal, killed by an 11-footer. 2 years ago, Chatham County, Georgia. Ruth Baker, age 39, killed in her backyard by a 10-footer. Same year, Pinellas County, Florida. Walter Jakes, age 70, and his dog,
Archer,
killed by a 12-footer. 3 years ago, Dade
Very funny show. I kind of lost interest in it a bit. It just went on for so long. But it's like a James Bond type parody type show there. Yeah, very, very kind of fun there. But yeah, so you have that who's his inside voice inside of his head. Also, he's got a little girl there who's his dead sister who kind of follows him around as well, who also is inside. So you got two battling kind of voices inside his head there that are competing for his attention. So yeah, that's what we kind of have here with this movie kind of going on. And speaking about, especially when we just did a review of The Raid. Nick did a retro review of that, of the second film and the first film. You also have one of the characters from The Raid, who actually is the one that trains Bill Skarsgård's character.
Yeah, Yayan Ruhian.
Yeah. And he has some great moments in this movie too. So I'm gonna give it to Dust. You saw Boy Kills the World. What are your thoughts on this film?
Just for starters, this is a black comedy first and foremost. A lot of from its humor to its style to everything else, but a lot of the fighting stylized, come almost in a kind of raid-like energy. A lot of there's a bit of shaky cam in here, but I'm happy to see that they do pull the camera back and allow scenes to move back and forth and allow it to actually breathe. So it does have a kinetic energy to it, which is what shaky cams try to do, but can't ever accomplish. You need to actually have momentum.
Yeah, it's like what the Bourne movies had, where the camera shaked, but it was, you still had a clear sense of the geography of the action set piece, and it was more meant to draw you and pull you into the fight. But Hollywood, did what they always do and put the wrong lesson from it, and it's like, okay, let's hide the fact that none of our actors can actually fight.
Right. Very much so. This very much is a straight up revenge film. We see a lot of them from the John Wick since John Wick became so popular. We just saw a recent one recently with Monkey Man.
Yep.
This is a if I had to compare it into a recent one with Monkey Man, this one's more
And also
like
stars Charlotte Copley, which also had Monkey
I
Man.
know it's funny to see.
Yeah.
This one's more of their. If you had to compare the two, their Monkey Man was a bit more thoughtful, bit more trying to be a bit more arty, but also being a little bit more slightly character driven. This one's is younger, drug-addled, plays Call of Duty version of his brother. Not any worse,
this
but
one is
where,
more. So where Monkey Man is, leaning into that action aesthetic, but going for more of kind of a art cinema look to it. This movie is going for bonkers, just balls to the wall fun.
Yes, fun is definitely a word I would use in this. This very much is a balls to the wall, kind of chaotic, messy action flick that has a lot of dark humor just invested deeply into its bones and set up. Now, this is definitely going to be one of these movies that is going to be you're either in for that or you're not. And if you're not in for that, you're going to be like, this is just a bunch of noise and chaos and it's bloody and all over the place. But if you're go in knowing that it's a black comedy, that's its styling, and it is mostly over the top. It's going to be over the top and it's going to be violent and bloody. I think you actually have a pretty solid time here. I actually had some fun. There's elements to it. There's not a lot of story here. There's not a lot of amazing characterization. A lot of characters are characters, and the villains are just super evil. There's no character there. They're just evil for evil's sake. They're the dollar store Hunger Games, and it's very tongue firmly in cheek as they do this. And if you're down for something that's violent but a bit more pulled back, lighthearted, but also very darker humor, I think a lot of people will probably enjoy it. It's the choreography overall is what's really carrying this. It's the choreography, the camera, and Bill Skarsgård, and of course the voice of H. John Benjamin, who I always know him as Coach McGurk from home movies.
Oh yeah, Coach McGurk.
I'll always remember him as Coach McGurk. But
yeah, that's a throwback there. I'll bring up a Coach McGurk clip because I think that was always
that's one of his favorite performances in his early on.
Dust, you are selling the hell out of this movie to me because I was already excited off of what I was seeing from the trailers.
Low. Always punch low.
Okay.
That means below the waist.
Right.
Get him in the legs or in the crotch. Do stuff like that.
Exactly.
Dirty fighting.
Yeah, I do. But there's nothing wrong with dirty fighting.
Really?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Because fighting is wrong. Right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna fight, you're wrong.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna dirty, you might as well dirty fight.
Yeah.
Because
it's good
If
life.
you're gonna do something bad, you might as well do it well.
Yeah. That's a throwback. Good old home movies there. But yeah, I mean, like this. I mean, it is. I mean, if you want action, you're gonna get a lot of action. In it. It doesn't take long to get into the action. You do the training. The training he does. Then he's like, okay, boom, you already done that at the beginning of the movie, the montage. Then it gets straight into it where he's taking up his, his one-man fight against Vanderkoor, the Vanderkoor family there. And the family is made up of, so you have Brent Gilman, who people might know from Stranger Things. You have Michelle Dockery, who people might know. She was in The Gentleman, which was the Guy Ritchie movie. She's also in Downton Abbey. Of course, we already mentioned Famke Janssen there. In Charlotte Copley as well. People might know District 9. And he also was just in Monkey Man. Yeah, so the action scenes are very well done. Very, very well done. Very exciting. A lot of energy in these scenes. The choreography is really good. You also have his team that he works with. Andrew Koji, who comes in here. Who I will say Andrew Koji doesn't really get any big action moments here. I would say like he's not using his martial arts skills from like Warrior or anything like that.
Oh come on!
Which is a shame because what I mean. You see him in the Warrior, and he's very impressive in those things. And I'm tired of seeing him sometimes in movies like in Bullet Train, where he's in there and he's not doing anything. I'm like, oh, man, that's kind of crazy there. And you also have Benny, who's Isaiah Mustafa, who's the Old Spice guy. He's the people might know him from those.
Yeah, he's the look at your man, now back to me, now back at your man, now back to me.
Yeah, he's in here. Who looks kind of unrecognizable. He's got that big beard there. I barely recognize him seeing It Chapter 2. Yeah. So you do have that. Um, yeah, I will say though, like when Dust made the comparison to something we've seen earlier this year, Monkey Man, in terms of like what Monkey Man was trying to do of like also have the great action, but then also tell a really good story. And that's what I kind of liked about Monkey Man was
Mhm.
that it was telling this very interesting story of really wrapping you, getting you involved in this character and giving him a real, identity and passion. And then yeah, I mean Bill Skarsgård's character as the boy, I mean, he does, have the whole tragic backstory, much like Dev Patel's character. But I think the difference is that you don't really know much of this world or what's going on. Okay, there's this
Mm.
evil family, and then the evil family's in control of this territory, the state, this world, or whatever. Like, how big is it? Where's everything else? Like, it doesn't really give much. It's like Civil War, where it doesn't really give much explanation as to this whole world that we're in. It's just like, okay, this is this evil family, and they're bad, and then he has to take them on, and that is kind of just like, that's kind of it there. And we talked about this. I think me and Brandon, who came on for a review of like Roadhouse, and not Roadhouse 2024, but Roadhouse 1989 with Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
And it's just like you have these action heroes nowadays where it seems like they strip them of all their personality and all their, and Bill Skarsgård is very emotive, like when it comes to his face and his eyes and everything. But it's just like, you strip him of his voice and all this other stuff. It's like, what happened to the action heroes who would deliver a cool line, who would be very suave, would be very
Who had
cool,
a lot
and
of personality.
a lot of person, and they would also kick the shit out of somebody. You know what I mean? Like, you also
Jean-Claude Van Damme's, the Arnold Schwarzeneggers, the Sylvester Stallones, the Chuck Norris, if you're
Kurt Russell's,
Kurt Russell's, definitely Kurt Russell.
Yeah, the
You know.
Steven Seagal's, not you.
No, not you.
But nowadays,
Early Steven Seagal.
Yeah, and
Under
even
Steven
to something like Warrior with Andrew Koji.
Yeah.
and then we also saw that movie with John Woo last year. Silent Night was also the same thing, where it's just like he's mute in this, where it's like, okay, he doesn't really have much of personality
Yeah, but
besides.
with that movie, the big flaw was that there's no reason for every character in that to be mute.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he really did treat this like Silent Night, like that's the theme of the movie.
I would have actually preferred, as much of an interesting experiment as that was, I would have preferred that other people were talking and he didn't.
Yeah.
Actually, would have made him more terrifying if he didn't say a single word and he's getting his ass beat, but you're hearing nothing out of him. That's actually kind of terrifying. That's like what makes Daredevil so terrifying in those early seasons is he wears that mask that's over his eyes and ears. You're like, what the fuck? You see a guy who's basically depriving himself of senses and then kicking the crap out of you.
But it kind of has that. So I think that's kind of, lacking with this of like, having real good identity with the character besides, like, just his action scenes there, what he can kind of do, which is a shame there. But I mean, like I said, it is impressive when it gets to the action stuff. It is very impressive. It is very well done here. There's a lot of really good, memorable, I think, action scenes here, like especially when he's fighting the main henchman of the movie here. I think that's really, really good stuff they do with this action sequence.
Oh, that's Jessica Roth from Happy Death Day. Who,
Yes.
To this day, I rewatched both of those movies recently, and I'm shocked that she is not a bigger star.
Yeah, and she's good in this. And the action sequence here is really well done, and the big battle at the end is also very well done here as well. That's also really intense. And then, but when it comes also to the ending, talking about the ending a little bit, it kind of gets I wouldn't say convoluted, but it kind of just is like this twist that comes. It's like I don't really see why you really needed to do this twist.
Yeah,
Seems
especially when you're going such a simple story.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, I mean, I'm glad what came from the twist, because we got a good big action scene from it, But I was just like, it seems kind of unnecessary. It seems kind of weird for this type of movie to do, like trying to do a big twist like that. But Dust, what are some of your final thoughts and rating here for good old?
This is a very action heavy movie. It's very humorous movie. It's got some solid lines from Mr. Archer himself, Coach McGurk, and I think Bill Skarsgård, despite him not saying anything, he does a lot of good performance with his eyes and mannerisms. Where you're like, yeah, okay, he's got something. This movie is very simple, and I think that actually works in his favor. it works in very simplistic. Hey, this is a simple revenge movie, but it's got an interesting style to it, and it doesn't try to be more than what it is. And then ends up working for it in the end. In the end, I actually had a quite good time watching this. I thought the action choreography was great. I would have liked to have seen more with Yaya Ruin, and there's good scenes in there. And I would have liked to see Andrew Koji actually, do some more stuff. But I don't know, man. I don't know what they have against that guy. But I'm happy to see him in the movie. Either way, I have to just say, for something that just kind of came out of nowhere on my radar, this is definitely a high tune in. I had a really fun time with this.
Yeah, I would. I kind of give it more of a mid lower tune in. There, this would be great to just watch at home too.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. Not say you can't go to the theater and support it. Because I mean I don't know what the budget. Let me see what the budget on this movie is. But yeah, it'd be great also if you can go to the theater and kind of support it. It says 25 million. I think.
Oh.
Is the budget on it. So yeah, it'd be great. I mean, yeah, it looks great for a $25 million movie. It looks really, really good. And the director of this movie is somebody I haven't heard of. Moritz Mahor, is his name there. I don't know if this is his.
It might be his first movie.
He did a TV series before, so this is his directorial debut here, and it has a lot of energy. Like I said, a lot of energy. Somebody's action orgy there. And yeah, it has a lot of, and the humorous bits also do work in this movie too. The humor when it does do that is really good as well too. Some of it comes from also Andrew Koji, and so I do like. I mean, he's doing a little bit of different thing. I mean, he's not playing typical Andrew Koji type style, which is more suave and cool. He's more manic and kind of all over the place and more kind of crazy in this than we've normally seen him. So I do like that. Yeah, like this scene. That's a funny like. Boom, that's kind of a funny scene there. I think that's kind of funny when they do that.
Yeah, he's like, he wasn't going to talk anyways.
Yeah. And H. John Benjamin does deliver a good, funny voice. You know what I mean, as his kind of inner voice there. That does works really well there. But man, I'd love to see Andrew Koji, movie, do some action scenes. That'd be fun. And not Snake Eyes, not something else.
Yeah, put him with an action director that can actually cook.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, I give kind of a tune in a little bit lower than that, but yeah. So that was our review for Boy Kills World.